What's up, and welcome back to the channel. You're listening to Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads, and check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Thank you. So what I want to do in today's video is talk about this clip that got released from Virgin Media, and I have to say I was absolutely bowled over when I saw this. I said to myself, absolutely no way this could be true, and indeed it is. This has been openly discussed on a state broadcaster to people that are viewing this nonsense. Now, I know an awful lot of people that are out there now that have cancelled their TV subscriptions a long time ago now, but more so in the last couple of months, because they are seeing what they are seeing on these types of programs, and they are seeing what they are seeing online, and it's totally different. It is not painting the same picture that these people want to paint, and these people are living in a very warped world. It is a fiction world that these people are living in. Meanwhile, the likes of me and you that live in the real world, that see what's going on and are telling the truth, are amassing views, and we are talking about different things because the truth is coming from me to you. I don't need a script, and I don't need 15 producers or editors or nobody else behind that pushing me to talk about what they are talking about here. It is coming from me to you, and that's why people are liking what's going on this platform, on Odysee and on Rumble, where I'm all at as well too also. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at these people. This is Claire Brock. This is a person that went to college, got herself an education, and then moved on then into working for a big media corporation straight out of college. Unbelievable stuff. Now, here's the thing, and I'll even refer to Sir Alex Ferguson in this one, and I'll paraphrase. He once said, and I will paraphrase, that journalists are there to report the news and tell the truth. That is not something these people are doing anymore. These people are puppets. They are talking heads for the agenda-driven stuff that is behind them, and these people are used as mouthpieces. It is absolutely unbelievable that this is a profession that is so lacking in ethics and so lacking in honesty and integrity. This is how lacking they are, that the likes of me have to come onto this platform and say, nah, this is nonsense. This is utter rhetoric that just doesn't gel with this country. It hasn't gelled anywhere else, and in fact, we're not having it. Then you look at this person over here. This is Louise O'Reilly from Sinn Féin. A quick Google image search here on Sinn Féin and this group here, Boy Large Mansions as they are mockingly called, goes to show you everything we need to know about Sinn Féin. Bending the knee, Michelle O'Neill there in front of a mural of a criminal, Gerry Adams in front of a mural of a criminal. You've got the gang there in Blanchardstown that were causing a ruckus, so much so that the Gardaí ran away from them. This was after an incident that happened here where the Gardaí rightfully took out a bad guy, and instead of people saying, well done Gardaí, we had the media and various politicians, the likes of Paul Donnelly, the TD there for Sinn Féin, asking people not to share video or images of the incident where St. George's Machete was wielding such an instrument and trying to put it towards Gardaí. They also didn't want to talk about the fact that this group, during the lockdowns and during all of the restrictions, were allowed to gather outside Blanchardstown Garda Station for 2 weeks and spout out absolute nonsense, make multiple threats to An Garda Síochána, and then actually tried to break in to the police station. These people also don't want to talk about the fact that there is massive trouble happening in Balbriggan on a regular scale. Then in the likes of places like Tyrrellstown and parts of Tallaght, there is trouble happening there regularly. You also then have to look at a couple of years ago when the videos emerged of the boys in the JCBs that attacked the Lidls and broke into it. Video footage doesn't lie. Then you look at situations that are happening because these people want to bring in other situations from across the world. You look at what's going on in France in various different parts. You look at what's going on in London with the knife crime and the videos that are coming out there. And then you have to look at then some of the perpetrators of the looting that is going on in America. And by and large, they have actually brought in a bill, I think, to say that if you steal under $1,000 worth of stuff, you can't be apprehended and you can't be charged. And it's quite interesting to see the people that are doing the looting. It's really, really not shocking. But anyway, you look at situations like that and then you see this type of nonsense where these people don't want to address these problems. They don't want to address the fact that the likes of the rap culture, for example, is pushing forward criminal behaviour. These people are pushing forward and putting on pedestals criminals. This is not good. This is a bad thing to do, and civilization and societies are going to have massive problems if they are importing this type of way of thinking. You already have complexes with people, and you already are trying to integrate people into a society that they don't really know much about. That's going to cause big danger and big problems, because I'll tell you this, none of these people are going to be living beside any of the nonsense that has been occurring in various different areas over the last couple of years. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly something that always strikes me when I see things like this is this. I didn't know that Africa, the continent, joined the EU. I didn't know that. And I don't know how so many of these people are coming to this country and being given free houses, free money, and then their children being looked after them with umpteen amounts of cash then that's been given to them for as many of them as they have. I didn't know that. I didn't know we were part of the EU, but I think that's quite strange. Now, I also want to very much so put on record that I know that there's people that come from these countries, that come from hard lives, that come here and work hard and do a day's work. Absolutely I do. I know them very well. And unfortunately, what you have is people like the likes of Claire Brock, you've got Louise O'Reilly here, and then you've got Yemi here, that are instead turning with a different brush and saying, please feel sorry for us and we should be given everything and you shouldn't question anything whatsoever. Unbelievable. Let's have a look.
Of white privilege. It's a thing that's very much come into play with Black Lives Matter.
A Marxist organisation that has caused $2 billion worth of damage in America. And also, by the way, they're mockingly called Buy Large Mansions because the leaders of the group did what? They bought large mansions. Interesting, isn't it?
In the US, that white people have an advantage in life simply because of the colour of their skin.
Absolute nonsense statement. She's not backing that with facts or statistics or anything like that. What I will say is this: when you have 12% of the population in America, because if you want to talk about bringing American stuff over here, I'll do that, no problem. 12% of the population over there in America are black, and they perpetrate an awful lot of crime. They also then are convicted for an awful lot of crimes then in America. That's not got to do with anything of how people look. That's got to do with the activities that they're up to. Now, not only this then, when you're talking about privilege, because in fact I don't think it's white privilege whatsoever. I don't think white people are not shone a light on and people don't recognise when they're up to bad things. I actually think it's a different group that people like to ignore when they do bad things. Look at St. George, both St. George's by the way, because St. George there of course in America, St. George here in Ireland. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the fact that when you go to the likes of Jamaica, that you have to stay in a compound, because if you go walking around there freely as a white person, you ain't going to come back. They don't want to talk about the fact that as a white person, you can't freely walk around South Africa, because guess what? If you decide to go down the wrong part, you ain't going to come back, and that's due to what you look like. You talk about then, for example, lived experience that I have when you go to the likes of Chicago and you're in North Chicago and you're talking to someone there and you're getting friendly with them, person that works the hotel, and black guy himself, and I say, oh yeah, I'm going to go to South Chicago, and he's telling me, bro, don't go there. And I'm like, why? And he's like, you won't come back. So as a black man, he's telling you as a white person, don't go into this black area because you're not going to come back. So I think we need to start looking at these things and we need to start telling the truth. Now, I have also done a report before on this channel talking about Nigeria, where this woman hails from, where she is from, and I have talked about the fact that that is a country that is openly attacking Christians. These people won't talk about this whatsoever. They don't come out and condemn it. They don't talk about it. They don't highlight it whatsoever. Absolute silence. So I'm not buying into their narrative whatsoever, as you can quite understand.
We don't even necessarily know we have this advantage because we haven't lived in your shoes. But
okay, I'm going to stop you there. This is a country here in Ireland that has been under British oppression for 800 years plus. So when you're talking about living in people's shoes, you're talking absolute nonsense there. Now, I'm also going to say this. This person is from Nigeria. She's not American. And what you're starting to confuse now is people that all look like this person now, all under the same umbrella of victim mentality, feel sorry for us and give us everything and don't criticise us when we do things that are negative. And we won't hold members of our community to account whatsoever. Instead, we're going to put the bad members on a pedestal. That is, in my opinion, the long-lasting effects of the likes of the culture of rap, for example, pushing forward criminal behaviour and indeed endorsing it, and some of the lyrics within the songs. Now, you might find me prudent when I say that, but the more I look and listen to the likes of Tom MacDonald, I start to see it then and say, oh yeah, I think he's right, and I think he was right. Anyway, going back to this comment, you're talking about a person here from Nigeria. Her ancestors, from what we understand, are not in America, which therefore means that they weren't involved in any sort of trade. So why do we feel like this person is being given some sort of slide and this sort of ability then to look down her nose? Because that's what she goes on then to say. And look at the smug look on her face. She's able to look down her nose at people here in Ireland. Now, this is a nation that has welcomed this person in and other people like her. And these people behave like this on this panel. It's absolutely outrageous. I cannot believe that this is on a state broadcast. I really can't.
That's the reality. And do you think people understanding that would help us all in turn improve our behaviour and
improve your behaviour? Are you talking about the fact that people looting in America? Are you talking about the fact that people in the likes of South Africa? Are you talking about the fact that people like the likes of Jamaica? Are you talking about the fact that even in our own backyard, the likes of Tala, Blanchardstown, Balbriggan? Are you talking about that? Talking about behaviour? No. Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's absolute nonsense there then from you also, Claire.
improve the situation?
Absolutely.
And this is exactly what you have. You've got these people, you've got 4 leftist, radical left women on a panel here. There's no man there, first of all. Now, if they did have a man, it'd be some soy boy like Paul Murphy, who's an apologist he is. They don't have any sort of different view on this. And anybody that's like the likes of me or you, that's sitting there going, no, hang on. You're not talking about Jamaica, you're not talking about South Africa, you're not talking about South Chicago, you don't want to talk about those? Well, then, you need to stop. Because the facts are the facts.
Absolutely. I think if people understand it a lot more, it would help. I have a friend who lives in Waterford, and she shared with me reading a book recently which helped her understand, she's white Irish by the way, which helped her understand that she does have white privileges.
How? Explain. This is all vague stuff. Absolute vague stuff. And I cannot believe that this isn't, well, I can believe because you're looking at the panel there that this isn't been challenged by anybody credible, because there's no honesty or integrity or no ethics or anything like that in the journalism profession now anymore. There's just not, and especially when you're seeing it in the live stream. It's gone. Finished. It's all talking heads. But she's talking about this person then saying that she has white privilege, and she's come to her and said that there's nothing worse than a snivelling leftist, and particularly now at this stage, a snivelling leftist woman, because these people are absolutely outrageous. Look at some of the behaviour, because again, they want to import Americanisms and import American culture and import what's going on in America. Look at some of the lunatics on the likes of libs of TikTok, for example. And you can see what leftism is doing to women, and what it is doing to women then, particularly white women that are absolutely 100% super aggressive about this whole situation. Yet the most black people are like, don't even care about it. People that I know are like, I don't care whatsoever. It's unreal.
And people need to understand that there is such a thing called white privilege.
They're saying things and not saying anything at the same time, if you know what I'm saying. They're just saying nothing. They're talking a lot, but they're saying nothing. It's an absolute nothing burger from people like this.
And to use it for good.
Use it for good? What is she talking about? It's absolute nonsense that she's talking. But then you go over onto the Wikipedia page, and I think it's important that people have a look at Wikipedia pages, and I think it's important that after this video you have a look at Stephen Crowder's video on Wikipedia and how much of a bias they have, particularly for leftist individuals. So just so you know, this is a platform that actually veers their way. Now, believe you me, after this video comes out, there'll probably be some wild edit and deletion of a load of this stuff, so it's important to get this on video to show you exactly what's going on so we can document it. This video is also going to be available on Odysee, so don't worry. You're all looking at this now, and it's Yemi Adenuga. So Yemi Adenuga is a Nigerian Irish politician. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems pretty privileged to me, that you can move to a country, not actually be from the country, and then be elected then. That seems pretty privileged to me. I don't think, and I'm just going to make a guess here, not that I'd want to go to Nigeria, I'm just being honest about that one, but I don't think that if I went to Nigeria and said to them, look guys, tell you what, you need more Irish going on around here, this is not good enough, you need more people that don't look like you to be running the show here, I can only imagine what would happen, because that's a country, by the way, that parts of the country are attacking Christians, and very negatively so. So, there you go. I don't think that would happen. So when you're talking about privilege, don't know what you're talking about whatsoever. Then you look at, for example, you've got Leo Varadkar. he got into the position that he did. Taoiseach, whether you agree or not, got into the position that he did, and somehow got election and was into that position. And I don't know how he did it, but we were talking about this country then being sort of istophobes. People didn't have a problem with that. People didn't have a problem with the likes of Paul McGrath playing for this country. People didn't have a problem with the likes of Phil Lynott being an excellent musician for this country. Nobody had a problem whatsoever. It's only recently when you're seeing these people arrive into this country causing problems then because they're hopping on these woke bandwagons is their problems, and they're trying to blame everybody for problems that you've got nothing to do with. In May 2019, she became the first elected black female public representative in Ireland when she was elected to the Meath County Council. Now, that's what it's all about there. First elected black this, first elected this and that. That's what they're very much so interested in. They're not talking about, is she going to do a good job? What has she done since she's been there? Not talking about that whatsoever. Just talking about what she is. And what people like her don't seem to understand, or maybe they do, a person like her to the likes of the woke agenda is like a pet to them. You're looking at then the likes of Bryson Gray, for example, who I immensely respect, and you're looking at other people that are out there, the likes of Thomas Sowell and various other people that are out there. David Dorn, someone that I massively respect. People that are out there that actively did something and are doing things, whereas this person is going around, running around telling people they're privileged. Absolute nonsense. Now, what is going on in Meath? I don't know what's happening in Meath, because they're electing this person who doesn't seem like a good choice, and they're also electing Helen McEntee. That doesn't seem like a good choice whatsoever. Meath need to start pulling her into line, because you're doing bad things down there, guys. And has since become a local and national anti-ism advocate. Of course, an anti-ism advocate, because here's the thing. Only places like this would listen to this nonsense. If I ran over to the likes of Nigeria or China or Japan and said, listen guys, you're very bold for saying naughty words and saying naughty things to me, I'd be fast carted out of that place. Or maybe not. But you have these people now that are being given an ear by the likes of the state broadcaster, and they're going on with these tirades here. If you're finding that this is a country with problems like this, why are you asking and advocating for more people to come over? That seems like a bad idea. Would you not try to shield them and say, no, guys, don't come here, we're not welcome, and these people don't like me, I'm trying to change things here to make it a little bit more suitable. But instead it's like, no, wave them on in, come on in there, and then we'll cry about ism and istophobes and all that, but don't be worrying about any of the problems that are going on in our continent. Don't be worrying about the problems that are going on in Africa. Don't worry about anything that's going on in Nigeria. Let's not worry. You know what I mean? She has also founded a variety of mentoring programs for women and youth, starred on the television show Gogglebox Ireland, and worked as a radio and television broadcaster. Now let's have a look here. Early life and education. Adenuga was born in Nigeria and raised in a town outside of Lagos. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly over the last couple of centuries, and history has always told us to be wary of invaders from foreign lands, and have always said, well, do you know what, we do things like this here, and if you don't do things like us here, well, then you're not welcome. Instead, it's the inverse now. People and the likes of state broadcasters there are welcoming in people from other places and wanting us to change to their ways, but they have left their country where the ways are not good and are trying to implement those ways in this country. That makes no sense whatsoever. She was the 16th of 27 children of a father with 7 wives. There you have it there. Anyway, we'll move on through that one, because there's many a joke you can make about that one, I'm sure. In 2020, Adenuga told the Irish Independent, I grew up in circumstances where, as a girl, I wasn't given a chance. So that's more issues that you have then with Nigeria than you do with Ireland then, because you know yourself. Adenuga completed a diploma in business studies in 2008, a bachelor's of business studies in 2010, and a postgraduate certificate in 2016 from the University College Dublin. She completed her MBA at Liverpool John Moores University. Now, in my opinion, that seems very privileged, because do you possess such? I probably don't think so. So this person is quite privileged then. Career. Adenuga worked as a radio and television broadcaster in Nigeria for 10 years before moving to Ireland in 2000. So you're starting to see where these little webs are starting to tie up then, and these little dots can be connected. Someone in the media has moved to another country now and is now widely being published and politicised by the media. You know what I mean? After moving to Ireland with her family, she was not able to find work in the media industry. I'm not surprised, because if you just walk into another country, you're not going to be getting your job off the ground if you're coming from somewhere that it's not great. It's different when you have the likes of Claire Brock, even though we'll have a laugh at that. She has studied and qualified in that industry, and that is why she moves into those positions. Where if you're coming from somewhere that might be a bit shady or might not be great, could be like me here reporting on YouTube. That could have been what she was doing, and then you're applying to the likes of these companies are going to laugh you out the door. If I turned around to the likes of these companies tomorrow and sent a CV, they'd laugh me out the door. What's your accomplishment? You've got a YouTube channel? No thanks. And that's why the YouTube channels are beating them. Anyway, we'll move on. And encountered challenges in work she found that applied to her accountancy degree. Unbelievable. She settled in Navan in 2004. Adenuga starred on the reality television show Gogglebox Ireland for 4 years before deciding to run for elected office. So this is a person then that was on Gogglebox, so famous then for sitting on a couch watching TV, and then other idiots then tune in to watch her watching TV. What a low rung of a ladder we're on here in this country, really and truly. They talk about a fella there in America that ran his own show about having various different people working for him, and him being able to say you're fired, and they said that guy shouldn't be running the country. That guy has millions in the bank, billions in the bank. Not this person though, I don't think. After being active in the community of Navan, she initially declined an offer from Fine Gael to become involved in politics. So hang on there, I'm just going to pause there. You're talking about privilege there. That seems pretty privileged to me for one of the top parties here in this country. In fact, one at the time that was in and around running things, to be coming to you and asking you to run for them. That seems like privilege to me. Doesn't that seem like privilege to you? I haven't been asked by any of these ruling parties, listen, Ninja Knight, come on over here and you can run for us, and we'll stump for you, and we'll put boatloads of cash behind you, and we'll push you into the public eye, and then, you can't be getting rid of then at that stage once you're in. That hasn't happened with me, but it's happened for this person that's come from Nigeria. It seems odd, doesn't it? That seems really privileged to me. You're starting to see a pattern here. But later changed her mind, and in 2019 became the first elected black female public representative in Ireland. So not once did they come calling, but twice did they come calling to this person. That seems kind of unusual to me. Very strange. And the first migrant councillor in the Meath County Council. What is going on in Meath? Again, like I said, Helen McEntee, and now this person here. You're seeming to not be interested in politics in Meath. You start needing to get involved quick. By the way, there's a large gap in the market here for someone that's nationalist to be running this area. Ireland first, because I'm telling you, you're in for a good win here against the likes of this. Adenuga has said she did not consider race when she agreed to run for office, but instead, now she's going to siphon off this now to keep her narrative going and to keep her face in the media, because that's what it's all about. These egotistical, narcissistic individuals, reporting on one yesterday, here's another one today, that are doing these type of things, aren't doing it because they have good plans in place or they have the betterment of this country in mind. Instead, it's all about them and how much coin they can earn whilst siphoning off the taxpayer here in Ireland. But encountered bigotry. Now, that's a word that they like to throw around on these platforms. Bigotry, when you look at it and look at the dictionary version of the word, because they do like to alter the word online. It's someone with a very stern opposing view. While campaigning, that in itself was the very reason why I was even more determined to win. I highly doubt that happened. I really do. I would say that there was probably a couple of jokes that were thrown around, and unfortunately from people from other countries, they don't seem to understand the very dark humour that we have here in Irish culture, and certainly in our ways. We would slag anybody about anything, and it just comes off now as someone that's very interested now in saying, oh, I did this because a couple of people said mean things to me. Okay, but you're not interested in the betterment of the country or anything like that, are you not? No. What were you interested in? Oh, well, people said mean things to me, so I was really determined to do it then. Not for the better way of life for people, no. So this is actually quite resentful then when you see that, and that's what I'm talking about. You can't be electing people like this. You can't be supporting people like this, because this is resent driven. It's not for the love of this country. You know what I mean? Soon after the election, she joined with Councillor Hazelnut. Now, as I reported on yesterday, and plenty of videos on her in the past about too, this is another individual that gets heavily involved in saying mad things online. gets in the old rapping the knuckles, and then cries then about the fact that people are insulting her. I mean, it makes sense. In calling for urgent action to address ism. So again, talking heads, people that are interested in pushing their own agenda and the agenda of whoever's behind them then to talk about things like this. Unreal. Again, if this place is so bad, why are you here then? Should you not just go somewhere else then? Like, that's what I would do. If I went to a pub and the pub didn't want me, I'd just go, right, that's grand, I'm going to another pub here now, I won't be back to this one. That's what I'd do. And then I would say to my mates, here, listen, see that one down there? Don't go down there, that's an absolute dump. I wouldn't even bother. Don't want me there, so that's the end of that. That's the way normal, rational people in reality deal with things like that. In 2020, after St. George, the Meath County Council approved her motion to fund an educational initiative and become the first county in Ireland to openly take action against ism. So now we're starting to see what's going on here now. There's starting to be a little bit of political manoeuvring now into not being able to be critical of people when they get up to negative behaviour. Like I said, negative behaviour in the likes of Jamaica, South Africa, Chicago, South, all not talked about. They don't want to talk about it. Detroit, another place down in America, because these people want to import and talk about different places. So I might as well. France, Paris, look at Malmo. Various other places that you have out there now that have imported people and have gotten up to negative things, and instead they've gone down the woke thing of saying, oh, we'll call you an ist. And what happens then is this: you're very interested then in defending yourself, which is what most people would do, and they have you on the back foot at that stage, instead of going, no, what I'm saying is right here. And not only that, then people that are actual ists then are just not interested in that whatsoever. You call them an ist, it's like, so what? Whereas people that are good people like you and me, when these people try and tar you with that brush then, which is completely untrue and completely false, these people then try to put you on the back foot by saying things like that, and it's not the way to go for it. These people know that word and those accusations are up now at this stage, because people are not afraid and they're not sad to be called a mean word or a mean name or an accusation being put their way, because you're seeing situations like this now that have been utilised one too many times for occasions that are not actually linked to this, and people are not taking it seriously whatsoever, which is a great shame. That's how they have destroyed that word and destroyed those accusations that should be held credibly, but instead now they're just flippantly throwing it at anybody that disagrees with them, and that's why you see people laughing at it and mocking it now. She has also advocated for hate crimes legislation in Ireland. Now, these people can't define what a hate crime is, and instead, this again, like I said, is a protection racket, because instead of you being able to criticise a community or criticise an individual or criticise individuals, instead what they want to say is, well, you must not like them, that must be a hate thing that you're saying, microaggressions and all this type of nonsense. That's where they're trying to go. They're trying to thought police you, and then they don't want you to point out the obvious. Now again, like I said, the obvious is in South Africa, the obvious is in Jamaica, the obvious is in South Chicago and in parts of America, where, for example, that group with the 3 letters have caused 2 billion worth of damage. You know what I mean? She also advocated for hate crimes legislation in Ireland that includes penalties for online harassment, so taking the mick, and helped organise an online rally against ism. Madness. Imagine this person, and this is what I always like to say, imagine this person that gets mean things said to them and they're like, oh my god, I need something to be done about this. That's not the type of person you need to be electing. Do you think that this person is going to be standing up to very negative and dodgy people in the world circle when they have to go and do things about that? They're crumbling under words. Me and words said on the internet. Me and words get sent to this channel and sent to different social media profiles that I'm on. I laugh at them because I just say, it's your opinion, you're entitled to it. And I laugh at them. I don't care whatsoever. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing people now getting back to that sort of mantra of going, I don't care what you're saying or what you're doing or anything like that. You're wrong, and we're actually going to keep calling you out because that's important. Adenuga has launched several community initiatives, including the mentoring programs Shiro's Girls Club and Shiro's Boys to Men project, the Meath Stand Against Ism education campaign. I mean, everybody knows that ism is bad. What do you mean education campaign? You see, it's money to be made, and that's what it is. You're seeing the likes of herself here, you're seeing the likes of Eben Joseph, you're seeing the likes of Sam McConkey, all these weirdos that are emerging and have radical ideas that are just not in tune with reality and are being pushed and funded by various different places. It's not good. Shiro's Global to support women and youth, and the Yemi Adenuga Mentorship and Leadership Program. That sounds like Derek Zoolander's school for children that can read good. To mentor women and youth. She also serves on the board of Culture, a community organisation that supports migrants, asylum seekers and refugees. By the way, that is Helen McEntee also and Roderick O'Gorman are happy to give these people citizenships. Unbelievable. Where else would you get it? Happy to give people that have entered this country and have been here a wet weekend, and yeah, we'll give you a citizenship here. Recipe for disaster. Adenuga began the Shiro program in 2012 and in 2018 formally launched the program in Nigeria after conducting projects in the country for 2 years. Adenuga and her husband also manage Nigerian Carnival Ireland. I'm sure that has plenty of money attributed to it as well. A theatre company that performs in Ireland and Nigeria. Now, I think that that's pretty interesting. Seemingly, this individual is privileged. It certainly seems privileged to be able to go between two countries there and put all these sort of events on, does it not? That seems kind of privileged to me. Not only that then, but if she's that in tune with helping out, I would, and I mean this in all sincerity, I'm not joking whatsoever, if this person is indeed interested in changing the world and standing up for human rights, like I said about the other fraud yesterday, I'll say about this one here today. If you're super duper interested in that sort of stuff, you should make it a full-time obligation and full-time career to go back to Nigeria then and help out women that are over there, because they're under the cosh over there along with Christians. So I think it would be good, and I'd be fully supportive of you going to Nigeria and helping things out there. What I'm not supportive of though is you coming to my country and telling my people that we are ists, that we are having some sort of privilege. I don't think that is in tune with this way of life nor this country whatsoever, and I'm not up for it whatsoever. I don't think people like this should be listened to. Instead, what I think is going to happen is there's going to be plenty of memes that are going to result from this. There's going to be plenty of laughing and mockery, which these people of course then will cry and run to social media and go, oh my god, I can't believe these people are doing this to me, it's so mean. Well, here's the thing. You're saying things on a public sphere and a public platform. They're going to get blowback. That's the reality of it. And when things are so nonsensical like this is, I think you're very much so deserving of that, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Keep shining a light on things like this. Keep sharing this information with other people. And make sure videos like this are getting out far and wide so that people can see exactly what's going on, exactly what our media are up to. Because at this point in time, I think we have the ability to be like the Jedi at this stage, to have a little glimpse into the future of what's going on. Look at what's going on in America. Do you fancy that going on here in this great country of Ireland? I certainly don't. So I think it's important that people that are putting Ireland first, that are making it Ireland first, you need to be running in elections against the likes of these people. You need to be stepping up and standing up for Ireland, because otherwise it's going to create a gap, and these weirdos, these people that are only interested in themselves and causing division in this great country, are going to get in and they are going to cause a ruckus. I don't think we should allow that. Instead, I think we should be standing up to it. I think we should be contesting it, and I think we will win seats then, and I think we will turn this country back to the way it should be, because at the moment it's been helmed by people that are very sinister people in my view and in my opinion. Anyway, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below, and I'll talk to you later. Make sure you're following me over here on Gab at ninja_night, and over here on Gettr at the_ninja night. Thank you. Due to the limiting of the truth on this platform, make sure you're following me over here on Odysee and on Rumble. Thank you.